Hi, my name is Gina and I am a Tropical Vedic Astrologer, and I use the whole sign, whole house system. And today we are going to talk about the moon and the different moon signs. Before I discuss the moon signs, I want to quickly go over what is the moon? What is the significance of the moon in our charts? Many people connect to the description of their moon sign more than their sun sign. It's a really significant planet in everyone's chart, and the moon represents how we perceive the world, and it represents our preferences, our likes and dislikes. The moon also corresponds to the mother. So when we're between the ages of 0 and 1, this is the time period that shapes the condition of our moon in our charts. If our moon is extremely starved because it's conjunct Saturn, that can show us some things that was happening when between your ages of 0 and 1. Maybe your mom was going through an extremely stressful situation, or your moon can be with its friend Mercury, and Mercury is really helping your moon. The moon represents how we get our needs met, and it also represents how we get nurtured. So if our mother was able to nurture us, and if our mother was able to give us what we need when we needed that thing, that could have really benefited us. And because of that time period between 0 and 1, we're used to having our needs met, or maybe not having our needs met. So the moon also represents our comforts. What do we feel comfortable with? And that is usually a reflection of how we experienced life between the ages of 0 and 1. Another thing that the moon represents is our adaptability, because in this world we're not always able to get 100% of our needs met. That's not possible. But what the key is with the moon is how adaptable are we? And the moon also represents our home, our environment, especially between the ages of 0 and 1. Are we used to getting our needs met? Are we used to having a lot of nurturing, a lot of care, between those ages? So we might get used to that. We might expect that. Was our mom or mother figure unable to be there 100% of the time? Maybe she worked 2 jobs. Maybe she had other kids as well. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the moon, but I think this is a great start, a great foundation. And right now I am going to dive into each moon sign. If you haven't already, please check out my moon boards on my website at hercosmiccrown.com/astrology, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see my moon boards and a quick description of each moon sign. But I am going to describe each moon sign more in detail right now. Pisces moon. The description for Pisces moon is alchemist, otherworldly, intuitive, dreamer, purifier, and liberated. Pisces is a water sign and is ruled by Jupiter. And the water signs have to do with moksha and spiritual liberation. Liberation just means liberation from the material world, but it can also mean spiritual liberation as well. All the water signs are very spiritual signs, so the water signs may have to do with finding one's happiness, finding one's peace. And Jupiter is all about joy, finding one's joy, purpose. And Jupiter and the moon are actually friends. So a person with their moon in Pisces can, it's a really good placement for the moon. And they can find their purpose. They can adapt to different situations and different things in life that can connect them to their purpose. And they can maybe seem lucky in that way, but it's just that they know how to tap into the things that align to their purpose better. It's important to look at one's Jupiter in their chart if they have their moon in Pisces, since it's ruled by Jupiter. The overall feel that I have for this moon board that I created is kind of like light and airy, kind of feminine. Pisces is a feminine sign. And I kind of wanted to create this kind of otherworldly feel to it. I have a couple of movies featured in this moon board that kind of remind me of Pisces a bit. I have Alice in Wonderland, which has to do with this other world, with Alice tumbling down the rabbit hole and just being exposed to another world. Alice is tumbling down the rabbit hole and finds the truth. And how I see that is any kind of deep issues that a person has to face, because water signs have to do with the kind of depths that we have inside of us, and a lot of negative things, a lot of hard and difficult things we don't want to face, our shadows, our demons, those scary things. But once we do that, we can be exposed to this other world. And that's kind of what I think in Alice in Wonderland. And it even talks about like mushrooms, taking mushrooms and seeing things from a different perspective. And I'm not promoting, you know, taking any psychedelics or anything like that, but I am using that as an example, particularly as we talk about Pisces, because Pisces does rule, Pisces can rule, you know, psychedelics, going to different realms, astral traveling, whereas the opposite sign, which is Virgo, is about tilling the soil, doing the hard work, improving one's well-being, going to work, you know, dealing with the day-to-day things, which can be hard. However, Pisces is more about being liberated from those things. And sometimes some people decide to take mind-altering substances, and that, you know, you hear of people connecting to spiritual planes and existences when they are on those things and that can really open their horizons and their mind. Pisces is a water sign, so it's about going deep and swimming deep and seeing what's underneath the surface, seeing what is underneath the material world, going deep. And Venus is exalted in Pisces, and Venus is the planet of love, of romance. A person with their moon in Pisces can really seek fulfillment in the world. They can really seek out what is most fulfilling for them, what makes them emotionally happy, and what gives them purpose in life. And relationships is just an example of that. That doesn't mean that relationships will be the thing for them, but there can be an element of looking for balance and win-win situations for a person with their moon in Pisces, and also eliminating the things like that don't fit in with their idea of what is fulfilling for them, so they can be good at, you know, focusing on what is emotionally satisfying for them. Pisces rules the ocean. The ocean is the collective subconsciousness. The ocean, as my teacher Ernst Wilhelm has described in the past, is the ocean is like a natural washing machine, and it naturally purifies things in the ocean with the natural salts and the waves purifying things, and so it's a purifier. And Pisces is purifying our soul. So a person with their moon in Pisces can go through some really deep, heavy psychological things, but because they are dealing with those things, that can essentially purify their soul. It can purify their vision. It can purify a lot of things for them. It can be karmically purifying, and that can help them on their next cycle and their next phase in their soul evolution, whatever that might be. But looking at things from the perspective of, I'm dealing with this hard psychological issue, but I am meant to alchemize those difficult things and purify those difficult things so that I can improve my karma, and so I can become better. And Pisces is a sign that has to do with improvement and emotional improvement, improving the emotions, feeling better, tackling those demons, facing the shadows. And once we do that, we get better, we can evolve. Pisces is a sign that has to do with the evolution of the soul, evolution of the emotions. Another thing that I think of when it comes to Pisces is the Wizard of Oz. And it's about this journey of four main characters looking for the Wizard of Oz and looking for the truth. And they go to the Emerald City, looking for the wizard who can give them all the answers, to give them what they lack and what they need. And then they find that there's this illusion out there. And that is life. Life is full of illusions. We think that something's gonna bring us happiness externally. And when we get that thing, we realize, you know, that doesn't bring me happiness, right? A relationship doesn't bring me happiness. A great job doesn't bring me happiness. Money, a great car, a house, those things don't bring me happiness. Happiness comes from within. And a person with their moon in Pisces, they can tap into what brings them happiness, and one's purpose can bring them happiness because that's something that emanates from within. Someone's inspiration can bring them happiness, and someone's effort, you know, things like that can bring a person happiness. But these external things doesn't bring a person happiness. And a Pisces moon person is on this journey, and they're on this journey of this illusion, right? Life is but a dream, right? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. And then life is just a dream. And Pisces moon people are in this world, in this dreamlike state maybe, and just learning to wake up to the truth. Pisces is the last sign, and it can be that sign of enlightenment. Of course, not all people with their moon in Pisces or any planets in Pisces is going to be enlightened, but what it does mean is that they can be on this path of enlightenment. Things can come into their awareness that help them wake up to the truth. On a similar note, I have this maze here, and this maze is actually from the TV show Westworld, which is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. It's really deep, and it used to air on HBO, and it's about these robots, if you will, and they all have this maze imprinted inside of their head. But what that maze represents is, you know, there's a person here in the middle, and it's, to me, how I interpret it is that a person is trying to, you know, find themselves. There's also this I in the middle, so they're trying to find the I within. So they go through this maze called life, and as they go through life, they're learning about themselves. They're awakening to themselves, to who they are, to their purpose. The why are they, you know, the whys. Why am I here? And having a deep understanding of life and spirituality. And that's what Pisces is. And finally being liberated, and hopefully breaking out of the cycle of reincarnation, if you believe in that. Or if you don't believe in that, wake up to the deep consciousness and understanding of how I can break free of ancestral karma. And I will end on a quote. We are here to awaken from our illusion of separateness. That's ultimately what Pisces represents, because it is the sign of enlightenment. And enlightenment really on a deep level has to do with not seeing things as separate existences, that we all come from the one. We all come from the one thing, that one divine thing, and we are all composed of that. We may look different, we may have different expressions of that one thing, but we are all from that one thing, and we're not separate on a deep spiritual level. Pisces is about awakening to that truth, that there's an illusion of things being separate, things being different from us, things that we should hate, things that we should be scared of and fearful of. But those things are an illusion, and we don't need to hate other people, right? We don't need to hate this group or that group, or like this group or that group. It's all the one. And if we can use that knowledge and use that information that these things externally are influencing me, and these triggers from the outside, those things are here to help me evolve. Those things aren't here to make me fall into depression or hate other people. It's here to help me evolve. And if we can tap into that, then we are on this path of happiness and evolution, which is a big part of the Pisces moon experience.